And we'll be looking at a tutorial here shortly. It's kind of a short one, and then first I want to do the concept and some basics, and then we'll take a look at that closer. I'll wait till you get your project loaded though.
Yeah, it's launching.
Okay. And we're not nearly going to go into depth on this. I think truly going in depth on it probably take 6 months studying. It's a pretty complex topic. Okay, so I'm gonna right click on the assets down here and choose import new asset. And I'll drop on my Pink Panther. I'll drag the Pink Panther and drop them up here. Now over here there's an add component. And if I click the add component, I can start typing particle and find it fairly fast. Specifically, we're looking at the particle system here. And I'll go ahead and choose that. Now when we do that, it creates a particle effect based upon the image we've selected. And you see it over here, and there's a little window. You can stop it, you can pause it, you can restart it. This does not mean this will always be going like this. So it doesn't automatically loop. If I were to click stop that, and then I click the run game, then you see this. Okay, so got Pink Panther selected over here. Over here, I'm going to see the particle system down here. And remember how it says looping won't always loop? See how ours is selected for looping always? So if you uncheck that, and then you run it, it shouldn't loop anymore. Now, it still might go a long time period. Depends upon, what your settings are.
Yeah.
We're going to play with particles today. In the next class, we're going to take a look at modifying maybe our meteor and see what happens, when our remember our asteroids game?
Yeah.
When you shoot a asteroid, make it blow up. Now we could do that with animations, but sprite sheets. But particle effects is just meant there to be a little bit more efficient and provide a little bit more flexibility. Now, like I say, to understand everything here, it'd take quite a while. I see the start lifetime, start speed, start size, start rotation, flip rotation. There's a starting color. If I do the drop down next to it, you see there's a gradient. That's where gradient is where it goes from one color to another color. Random between two colors. That's where you got two colors. Now, if you choose a gradient, see it pops up with this here. And we'll look at that more. But there's just one blank down here. Two colors gives you two blanks. When you choose random between two gradients, you get two blanks here. So it'll change based upon what you want. Here's random color. Okay, so let's take a look at gradient. And like I say, we're not going to look at all the features, just look at some of them. An explosion. Maybe you want to start out like a bright yellow, and you want it to go to another different color. So if I choose gradient, and then I do the click the color there, you see this comes up here. You got the color picker here. Yeah, how do we pick colors? Click to add new preset.
You gotta bring your little, like, where the square is. You gotta like bring that little white, that black circle all the way to the right. The yellow.
Well, there's blacks.
Yeah. Or just click on where the yellow is.
Oh, down here. That's right.
Yeah.
That was did that another. Starts out this. Then if you over here, you could set a different color. So you got a range of colors here. Now blend is where it blends into the new color. Fix, I don't know. I guess just a little bit there is yellow. Trying to think what I'd want to go. Actually, yellow to white is what I'd want. But just to demonstrate it, you see when you click down here,
It's white,
yeah, you could choose a different color like red. And see how it blends from that. Now what that'd give us is if we came over here and play, that's interesting. Mine's still pink. Start color. Gradient. Unless there's a setting up here I'm missing. I'm probably missing a setting. We'll watch a video and it'll tell us which one to use. So I believe they changed two items in here. Let me choose random two colors. No, that must be a setting I'm missing. Start size, start delay. I know it's under render they selected something, the material here. I wouldn't think that changed the color though, but maybe you do have to select it first. So like if I chose this one right here. You do have to choose that down there. So what I did is I came down here under the renderer option, and I chose you had to choose a material first, and I chose default particle. And let me go ahead and loop it so we see it more. And see how you have different colors come off then?
Yeah.
Now you have to kind of visualize this. This is like when something hits it and it temporarily has these come off or something. And there's so many options on this that it's not even funny. Okay, so let me come back up here and I'll choose gradient. And that's where it's going from yellow to red. So you can get that look there. Now, also under gradient, we choose color. You see how there's a option here and option here? There should be a way to put a new option here. And I right click that, and then you can choose a color for that. So it's changing from yellow to purple and then to red. I don't know how you get rid of it. Probably right click on it again and delete. Okay, it's selected. It's got blue around. Let me press my delete. Yeah, and then delete. Now these right here, you could have your presets where you got things already configured. Okay. It's gravity. Wait a minute. See if there's anything else in the color. Random back and forth between two colors. Random between two gradients. And if you choose random color, I'm not sure if I see any difference between random color and a gradient. But maybe if your eyes are good, you can see it. But the randomly does the colors. Now gradient, when I had it set as gradient, I could almost see some of them change colors.
Yeah.
It's kind of like they broke off and they would change colors.
Goes from a red to light red to white.
Yeah. So that's what a gradient is supposed to do. It's supposed to change between colors. So I suppose that's the difference in that and the random. I wasn't sure if my eyes were deceiving me earlier when I was watching that. Okay, so let's head back to color there. There's gravity modifier. And you see there's a curve, random between two constants, random between two curves. And like I said, I couldn't tell you what all these different items are. After I choose a gravity modifier here and I come down, I can grab this window here, and do these little bars. They got little handlebars on it, so in theory you could even get the angle more.
Yeah. Like snow.
Yeah, and that's what you can grade with this. Because particles is snow, rain. Somehow they create birds flying. That's a particle system, and so they'll have it follow that. Because you don't want to sit there and create 200 birds flying across the sky, way up. But you want them to flock, and so there's patterns with that. Simulation speed. I haven't played with that, but I'm assuming it's how fast you want it to go. Let's see, plan awake. This is a emitter velocity. It's a rigid body. Some of these I think you'd have to have pretty good eyes to see the difference. Particles, 1,000. Choose 10,000. Again, I don't really see much of a difference there. But if we didn't have it looping, we probably would.
Yeah.
See if I had five particles. See how the 5 came off there? Like say with the looping, you can't see it unless you set it really low. Gee, these are all different options. Like emission, if you do that, there's options under that. Shape. These I guess are cone shape. It's donut shape. I'm not sure if I see any difference.
It's just coming up center.
Now that I see.
The long one.
Yeah. So there's donut. What's the was a cone initially? No. The true power of those, even though it doesn't look like it changes some of them, is that you can come over here and you can do some modifications on these. Like I expected it to change the position over here. Because the position here kind of implies that based upon this. But change that to 2. I don't think I'm understanding the position right. Position is not your absolute position. It must be a position from your object. Like if you don't want those coming out of your object,
Yeah.
I bet if you change this to 1, 1, 1, then it's coming up here instead of your object. Let's see, donut. Let me set that back to 0, 0, 0. You see there's other options here. These aren't selected by default. See a velocity over time, lifetime?
Yeah.
If you choose this, mark it, then you can set these settings. Limit velocity over lifetime, inherit velocity, force over lifetime, color over lifetime, color by speed, size over lifetime, size by speed, rotation, collision. I never have used that. I would assume you can have a particle collide with a particle, and how to handle that with a certain radius. Because light doesn't matter if they collide with each other, right? But if you're programming birds, you wouldn't want them to collide with each other, would you? If they were to come close to each other, you'd want them to go back apart. Lights, trails. A particle has a trail. So this probably controls how much of it's showing. We'll be looking at setting texture on this. Like up here, there's a texture sheet animation, and this is where you can tell it a mode. You can tell it to go off of a picture. So you choose sprites and check mark. So you can have it based upon check mark. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense with check mark, but we're going to see like raindrops. You'd want them in the shape of rain, right? Now I'm going to delete the particle system here. What I don't, I'm having trouble wrapping my mind around right now, except for a scene where you just always want it snowing, maybe, is you come over here and you can click the crate and you can choose the effects particle system. And the particle system is not coming out of a particular game object. It's based upon your scene. And like I said, if you're maybe trying to create some kind of effect, snow or something like that, then maybe that's where you'd use that. There it is, gravity. Particles are just kind of fun. I think it'd take you quite a while to get actually good at these, though.
Yeah.
To get that, and that's why we're going to look at a tutorial. Not that it's a great tutorial. There are great ones out there, but those are like the hour and a half tutorials.
Yeah.
And I was looking for something to be like 8 or 9 minutes. So we're going to see it's not the best. Okay. Let me delete that particle system. And let me go over to this tutorial. And through this tutorial, he'll have us create create some pictures. So I'll bring up paint.net.
Hey everyone, and
It's kind of loud.
welcome back to Blackthorn Prod. I'm Noah. Now, particle systems can add an incredible amount of life and juice to your game. Take a look at this simple top-down shooter without any effects.
See, and that's what you could have before you put particles in there, like our asteroid game.
And here's the same game, the only difference being that enemies and projectiles explode and pop when destroyed. Particles can also make your scenes that much more pleasing to watch and explore. From dust to snow to bubbles and smoke, making particle effects is incredibly fun and can change your scene from looking just good to visually stunning. With that said, in today's Unity tutorial, we'll take a look at how to make cool 2D particle effects using sprites. So let's start by showering this lovely character with fluffy flowers. Before making a particle system inside of Unity, we must head over to our 2D application. In my case,
Now we're going to use paint.net, so I'll go ahead and pause that. And I'm gonna try to do a better job this time. When I was playing with this earlier, I my flower looks pretty horrible. Now I want to go ahead and change this to black to begin with. So I'll do my my paint bucket. Click over here and fill that in. Then I want to click the paintbrush right here. And the brush size is 4. And I can change the brush size to 55. And of course I need to change my color. So I'll do a swap colors here because white's the one I want. So there's the center of my flower. And then I'll have some coming out here for the petals. A little bit better than what I did before. Now I'm going to click the magic wand here. That's that one there. And if I choose the black here, it'll choose this out here. And now if I do an edit and there's a cut, Control X, then I'll get rid of that. I still got the black here. And I'm not that greatest at this tool. I'm sure there's a way to select all of the black instead of individually. But if I click here and do Control X, click here, Control X, click here, Control X, click here, Control X, Control X, Control X, we can get rid of all our black. Is that good so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to do a rectangular select here. And I'm going to select a little bit smaller. So I choose that. I choose Edit Copy. Edit Paste that into a new image. Then I'll do a File, Save. And I'll save my pictures. And I'll call this Flower. I'll go ahead and call it Flower PNG. I got one, but the one I have is horrible. So, not that that one's good. And click Yes. And then click OK. So now, over in our assets, I'm going to right click and I'm going to import that in. So I'll say import new asset. And I'll choose my flower I just created. Right there. Now, if I have the Pink Panther selected, remember we can do an add component, and it should still say part, however much you typed a particle there. Then we want a particle system again. If you scroll down, let's see if I can remember where the materials is at. Under renderer, under material, choose that. Then you can choose one of these. Now realize this is the kind of the light one. But if you click these other ones, you'll get different items. I think I better play the video. I want to choose the exact same steps he did. He chooses one in particular when he uses texture.
Adobe Photoshop and draw out our particle visuals. I'll begin by filling up my background layer with some dark color and then drawing white my particle. I highly recommend you also paint your design in white, so you can then easily edit the colors in Unity. I'll create a fluffy looking flower to match the style of my scene. But of course, if you're making a more crisp, cartoon-like creation, take a hardbound brush and use that instead. Once I'm satisfied with how my particle looks, I'll save my file inside of my Unity project, and now I can create a brand new particle system. As usual, I'll get these default soft round particles. Let's change this. I'll head over to the render tab and change my material to sprite default. And now
Sprites default. Okay, so come over here, the material, sprites, default. And then I believe it goes up to the texture sheet animation. It may do some other things. We'll go back to it. Choose texture sheet animation. From grid, you change it to sprites. And then you can, the none object, you can click the little, whatever that is, circle to the right of it. And you see we got flower. If you choose flower, then you see that we got that particular image we just created coming out. Is that good so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll enable texture sheet animation. This won't have any effect on our system yet. So let's change the mode from grids to sprites. With that done, I can click here and choose what sprites I would like to act as my particle. Having only made this flower, the choice isn't difficult, and you'll now see that my system is spawning a bunch of fluffy looking white flowers. Awesome. Being white, I can easily select a random between two constants for colors, which will basically let us choose two colors and give each particle a random shape between those two colors. I'll also change the shape.
Let's see, that was under start color up here, I believe. Random between two colors. Click this one and choose some kind of color. So it gives you that.
Of my particle system, choosing edge, tweaking it.
Shape is edge. So edge is like that.
Its radius, position, and rotation, so that my flowers smoothly fall to the ground.
3.91 for the radius. And mode is random. Okay, my mode is random. Spread says 0. I don't see texture on his. Must be a new feature that they've added in.
For this sort of effect, it's great to have the loop box checked and the emission set to rate or.
It might just keep going up. He didn't say anything about gravity, did he?
No, I don't think so.
And we can definitely play with that gravity modifier, to get it to go down. Not that matters for what we're doing here.
Time. If you want more particles spawning, all you need to do is crank up this value. However, if you were planning on making explosions or a light
There's a rate over time. I think that was under emission. Let's see. Yeah, rate over time. He talked about how you can change that to 50. Change it to 5,000. That's an interesting effect.
spark, chances are you wouldn't want those systems looping. So all you would do is uncheck loop time, set the duration to 0.1 seconds, and then set the emission to burst. By hitting
So up here, he's talking about instead of the looping here, you then select that and set your duration to 0.10. And then if you click play, I don't have very many, do I? Why do I have so few? Have 1,000 selected there. Rate over time is 50. Is yours coming out to just that few too?
Yeah.
Maybe there's another option he has this set. Let's see.
this little plus sign, here you can play around with.
So down here in our bursts, oh, okay. 30, 30. Min and max are both 30. I don't have a min and max. Huh. Does that make sense on what it's doing there?
Yeah.
Looks like all the particles are bursting out, and then it starts over.
Mm-hmm.
So over here, if I change that to 10, then it looks like it's constant. It's not waiting that full time. On the other hand, if I change it to 90, there's my first burst, and the particles go and do whatever, and then it takes longer before the next one starts.
With the minimum and maximum amount of particles spawning from your burst. One trick I've noticed when making effects is to add randomness to many of the settings from here. So choosing random between two constants for size, speed, and lifetime will often make your effects look a lot better.
So random between two constants, random between two curves. Do two constants. Let's see, 1 to 5. I have so many coming out now. They're 100. What you'll find is that when you start changing some of those, when they start, won't always be constant. The speed won't always be constant. You see some of these are going at pretty good speed, and some are barely moving. And the lifetime, if you set the appropriate randomness there, you'll have some of them will last the entire duration, but some of them may last a little bit shorter. Start rotation. There's different varying effects of gravity, where some have 0. What does 0 gravity mean? It just stays where it is?
Yeah.
My science is kind of weak. I suppose if you want them all to fall, then your starting would be like 0.1. Now every one of them should fall at some point. Like that. Change that to 50. Still have too many on there.
Randomizing the start rotation of each flower in this case is also nice. And there we go, a cool flower particle effect. I usually don't settle though on making just one particle.
Okay, that time I saw it. Under rotation over lifetime, you can change that to 60 angular velocity.
There we go, a cool flower
Rotation over lifetime. Choose that. Choose 60. Do you see how the flowers are actually rotating?
Yeah.
And I suppose if I change that to 360, they'll rotate real fast. I say there's so many settings on here.
particle effect. I usually don't settle though on making just one particle. Enjoy making a couple of variations, so I can have fun choosing what sprite fits my game best. Now, using these same techniques, let's bring this cloud to life. I'll create one or more raindrops in Photoshop, send them.
Okay, so if we had a cloud. Okay, now I watched him he did it in Photoshop, so I know how to fix it now. I'm gonna do a paint. Suppose it helps if I make it black. There it goes. So everything's black. And where he drew his flower is he did new layer. So he did layer, add new layer. And now if I choose the paintbrush and switch to white. Actually, I should switch to blue, shouldn't I? Color rain, more or less. Change my brush width to something smaller so I can actually draw. 20. And then I'll choose paint bucket and paint inside. My rain doesn't look very good. Now, since we got this the background here with black, if I choose that, then I'll be able to delete this layer. So if I choose layer and choose delete layer, then I got my raindrop with so forth. So a little easier than what I showed you before. Now I want to make my raindrop smaller. So I'll choose my rectangular tool over here, rectangular select, I should say. Grab my raindrop, choose edit copy. Probably got it rotated wrong, but doesn't matter. And then paste in a new image, and then I'll choose file, save, and choose raindrop. PNG. And gonna stop that. I'm gonna delete Pink Panther off my scene. Let me go get a cloud. So cloud. Clip art. I'm looking for something that appears to have a transparent background. This looks like it does. So I right click on that, save image as clouds. .jpg. JPEG. So it might be okay. I'll right click over here and I'm going to choose import new asset. And I can choose the clouds that I just brought in and hold down my control and choose my raindrop too. There it is. Clouds doesn't look right. If I drop clouds on here, there's another one of those where it just looks like it's okay, I'm gonna delete that. Now if I right click on this, you see there's an open. If I knew enough about this tool, then I could change it. There's an open with. I'll do show and explore. And I'm going to right click. Now notice what I'm doing here is this not under their pictures, is it? This is actually under our projects. When I change this, it'll be reflected in my project. So if I right click on that and I say open with paint.net, hopefully I can select that. Yeah. Okay, so I've painted out all a certain color. I'll choose my magic wand, choose that color, do an edit cut. That's not good. Control Z. I change my tolerance. I never know which way to go. I'll choose that. And now I'll do an edit cut. Let's see, Control Z, change my tolerance the other way. Edit, cut. Well, that's just not working very well. Well, let me back up. And I'm going to make that a real strange color. So I'm going to do my paint again. Oh, my tolerance. There. Now choose my magic paintbrush, choose a green, which shouldn't look anything like the blue. Let me do an edit, cut. Okay, that's as good as I'm going to do. I'm obviously not very good at photo editing. Now if I do a save and click OK, in fact it's a JPEG, has me a little bit worried, but we'll see. I'll close that. I won't save anything. Now our clouds looks different, but it still doesn't look right, does it?
Right.
I wonder if it's just a JPEG. Yours worked?
Yeah.
Let me save it as PNG. Yeah, sure enough, it's back to white. Okay, magic wand, choose that, edit, cut. Now to a file. Of course, to save it as a different name, I probably have to re-import it. Was yours a PNG, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so come over here. I'm going to delete. I'm going to delete that. Okay. That looks like it added that. It did. So just by dropping an image in there, it's smart enough to recognize that. I don't have to import it. That's pretty cool. Okay, so
I imported mine.
Did you import yours?
Yeah. It's transparent.
Okay. So now I got this transparent. Again, we want a particle system on it. And we'll look at what the setting should be after we do this. That's strange it adopts the pink from our previous one, but so then down here under the renderer, I'm going to change the material to sprites default, and then the where's it at? Texture sheet animation. I want to choose that, expand it. And I want to choose sprites. And I'll choose my raindrop. Boy, that's bad. Okay. Now let's see what settings he says to indicate that use.
Forward to Unity and then make a new particle system. Once again, changing the material to sprite default and selecting my raindrop. I'll now edit the color, shape, and emission so that the rain properly pours down from the clouds. And selecting my raindrop. I'll now edit the color, shape, and emission.
Well, if he going faster then. He said shape. He's changing the start size now. Start size from 0.1 to 0.5. Yeah. Okay, so start size. Oh, there it is. Now go between two constants, and he says 0.1. to 0.5. That looks better, because they're not as big now, are they? Mine's still probably a little bit too big, though, so I'll change to 0.3 maybe. And the start color, he's going from light blue to dark blue. Color of water, as we might think, though it doesn't have. I don't think water has a color, does it?
Yeah.
Isn't it a reflection of the light or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
I'm not sure what he chose.
Selecting my raindrop, I'll now edit the color, shape, and emission so that the rain properly pours down from.
I guess it doesn't matter. I'll choose a start color, and I'll random between two colors. Choose the first one here, and I'll choose my light blue. And this one I'll change to a darker blue.
On the clouds, another cool particle trick.
See, he changed the shape, but I didn't catch what he changed it to. So I'm going to play with this. Hemisphere, donut, box, mesh render. I thought it was box a minute to go straight up and down. Edge, I got it to go straight up. So,
The raindrop again?
the what?
Like, the raindrop?
Oh, the raindrop?
Yeah.
You come down to texture sheet animation.
Okay, I have that.
You choose the first one, which is, and you set it to sprites.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, grab. With sprites.
Rotation, I bet I can change rotation. Guessing which one is probably going to be a challenge. There's Z, that's 45 degrees, so 90, 180. There it goes. I'm not sure if that's what he did, but I rotated it 180 degrees, so it's now raining down. It's not really going all the way across my clouds, so I could change the, what could I change? The X to 5, to 3. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. So they're coming out of my clouds now.
Is enabling the collision module, setting the type to world, and making sure that.
So collision, then world. When I was changing some of these earlier, I really couldn't see the difference, in some of these.
That this is set to 2D. I'll now.
So change this to 2D.
make a new empty game object called grounds and give that a simple 2D box collider that I'll place underneath my clouds.
I didn't catch what he did.
Sure that this is set to 2D, I'll now make a new empty game.
New game object. So over here, he did a create game object. Or did he do empty? He said empty, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Empty, the idea on there is it just like in the Blender, it doesn't really, it's empty, but it allows us to put some kind of force on it.
Object called grounds and give that a
Okay, so I'll call that ground.
simple 2D box collider. Now,
2D box collider. Again, you start typing it, and you can find it fairly fast.
place underneath my clouds. You'll now notice that each individual
I can't get mine to move. If I choose this option. I don't know why I couldn't grab it. I had rectangular select, but maybe since it was empty, I couldn't select it. He did move with the arrows, so he probably just chose that real fast.
mine's already in the center of the clouds.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
particle bounces a little when it hits the ground. You can of course control how bouncy your particle.
See how some of them bouncing way up. What if I change the scale on that, if it'll make every one of them bounce way up? Yeah, every one of them is bouncing way up now.
Are right here. If you don't want any bounce though, you can set the value to 0 and perhaps increase this dampen setting. Another cool trick.
Bounce 0, dampen 1. So choose my ground. Now he's back to the particle system. So, and is under collision. My dampen 0 and bounces 1 or no, flipped around. So we want dampen is 1, bounces 0. And you see it, then they just come down and they just stop right there.
So keep in mind is the particles order in layer. This works the exact same as with sprites, so particle systems with a higher ordering layer will render in front of particles with a lower ordering layer. Alright, here I have another 2D effect. these falling stars look a little odd when they're destroyed. It's not really smooth and appealing to watch. So another great setting I use to fix this is the size over lifetime. By enabling it, I'll have access to this simple graph. And
So here, the size over lifetime. If you choose that, and then you click this little line right here, you have this graph down here that you can then move and do different things with. Becoming pretty small, hasn't it? I wonder if that's because it starts here. If I move it up here. Okay, move it up there, they become bigger, don't they?
Yeah.
And probably then if I move this down here,
Small.
yeah. Although my eyes can't see it.
I mean, it just gets smaller as they disappear. So
Does it get smaller?
it looks like they just disappear once they hit the ground.
Right, in their life. Oh, their lifetime. So that's what makes them disappear on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can change the look of the graph by clicking these buttons. This one, for example, will be skipped.
Instead of moving it manually, he's indicating you can choose these options down here.
Scale up each particle over its lifetime. In other words, it will start small and grow larger. In my case, I want my stars going from big to small. You can also add points to this graph by double-clicking on it. For example, let's get this system spawning tiny particles that grow quickly and then slowly scale down. Last trick of the video, the particle system's trail module. This can create some nice, well, trail effects. By default, they'll be ugly and purple, but by super
It'll come down trails. Choose that. You can see the trail where the particle had been.
quickly heading over to render and choosing a material for the trail material slot, you'll find yourself with an extra cool effect.
We went over to I have no clue what he did. Do you have a trail material?
I have. Yeah, I can select the trail. Let's see. Yeah, trails, particles, ribbons.
Oh no, he's under render. Boy, my eyes are bad. 111 0.2. So he went to the render and into the trail material. That's where he came here.
So you can now play around with the ratio, which basically means how many particles will have.
Let's try that again.
Material for the trail material slot, you'll find yourself.
Sprites default. So under the render trails material, choose that and choose sprites default. Then he went up to up here to the ratio. I think he changed that to 0.
With an extra cool effect. You can now play around with the ratio, which basically means how many particles will have a trail. A value of 1 means that all particles will have a trail, and you guessed it, 0 means no trail. Most of the settings here, like with the rest of the particle system, are easy.
Okay, so 1 there. ratio.
To understand and fun to play around with, which I highly recommend you do. Here are a few particle effects I've made.
Change that to width over the trail to 0.1. I don't know. I don't think I like that rain. Again, that can be moved. Ground can be moved. So you won't see it all in the game. There's our rain. I really don't have time to give you an assignment on that. I went longer than I thought for a 7-minute tutorial. But I'll give you one next time to work on for the particle system.